Hello, and welcome to Soothing Pod. My name is Chris, and I'm going to tell you a wonderful story that will lull you into a peaceful and restful sleep. Tonight, I will be your guide as we travel to the wonderful world of ancient Greece to hear a very old and complicated love story from a great storyteller who lived long ago. Tonight, we are going to hear a modern English version of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Before I retell this play by Shakespeare, let's take a moment to feel wonder and awe at being here, in this moment. As you breathe in, do so slowly with a relaxed inhale and a relaxed exhale. Take a few seconds to calm your breathing. Allow your body to sink deeply into your mattress. And as you lie down, lay any burdens aside, any other thoughts that have been crowding your mind. Slowly close your eyes, feeling your body become heavy, your breathing less forced. Let's inhale again and hold for a few seconds. And then exhale, letting all that tension out and enjoying a moment of silence. Allow yourself to revel in this ancient story, a tale of forbidden love and passion. Are you ready? Let's begin. There was once a great ruler of Athens named Theseus, who planned to marry Hippolyta, queen of the Amazon. She was a fierce warrior, and so was he. It is in their grand palace that our story begins. The royal couple is busy making plans for a grand celebration. As they speak together, a citizen of Athens, Aegeus, enters the grand hall with his daughter Hermia. Following them were two equally handsome young men, Lysander and Demetrius. Aegeus has come to see King Theseus to complain. Hermia does not wish to marry Demetrius, whom she is betrothed to, but has eyes only for this other fellow, Lysander. How dare she disobey her father's will? Aegeus demands that the king punish his daughter Hermia, and also her lover Lysander. Lysander protests, accusing Demetrius of loving Hermia's friend Helena. The king wonders if this is true, for he recalls hearing those rumors before. He tells Hermia that she still has time to decide who she wishes to give her heart to. But she must make up her mind in these remaining days before the wedding celebration. When the young couple are finally left alone, Lysander and Hermia, that is, we hear the famous words, "The course of true love never did run smooth." They decide to elope the following night and start to plan for an escape to Lysander's aunt, whom they might be able to stay with for a while. After all, she treats him as a son and will surely understand their plight. Helena, Hermia's friend whom we heard about before, now enters the room. She is troubled because her lover Demetrius has jilted her and left her to marry Hermia instead. Hermia and Lysander, seeing her, reassure her that Demetrius can be hers again, for they are planning to escape the following night. Helena secretly envies their happiness. She devises a plan. She will tell Demetrius of their plan to elope. He will surely follow them into the woods to hinder their plans. Once there, Helena plans to follow the trio into the woods and win back Demetrius. It certainly is a strange love triangle, or assembly of couples. Who do you suppose will end up together in the end? Love looks not with the eyes, but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. We now come to another part of Athens, where a group of workers, for lack of something more entertaining to do for the day, decide to rehearse and perform a play. Maybe they can even perform it for the grand wedding celebration that is the talk of the town. There is Peter Quince, owner of the house where they are meeting, a weaver named Nick Bottom, and their friends. They are a rugged group, a complete contrast to the pairs of lovers we have just met. They all agree to meet in the woods the following night to rehearse their play. Now, our scenes change to the middle of the forest, where fairies roam and magic is the most usual thing in the world. Two fairies are discussing recent events. The fairy queen, Titania, is quite displeased with the fairy king named Oberon. In the thick woods, where no one can hear them, Oberon's servant tells Titania's servant that the two are having a feud. Titania has taken a little Indian prince to be her servant, but Oberon wants the boy for his knight. The fairy queen will not give the beautiful Indian boy up, not under any circumstances. Now, Oberon's servant is, in fact, Robin Goodfellow, but the fairies all call him Puck. He is a mischievous sprite known for his many pranks. Truth be told, he does often prank the humans. And why not? They are easily fooled, Puck reasons. Just then, Oberon enters from one side of the glade, and the Queen Titania from the other. Both have their trail of attendants, little obedient fairies surrounding them. And, as one suspects, the two head fairies are still bickering. When Titania finally leaves, Oberon thinks of a way to get back at her. He instructs Puck to look for the white and purple flower, also known as love in idleness. This is a peculiar blossom, which Cupid had once struck with his arrows. Ever since then, the flower's juice, when rubbed on a sleeping creature's eyelids, causes that creature to fall madly in love with the first living thing he or she might see upon waking. Oberon, of course, plans to use this juice on Titania. He hopes that she will fall in love with some silly, or even better, hideous creature. Until Titania decides to give the Indian prince to him, she will remain in love with whomever she is now fated for. And so, Puck flits off in search of the flower. Just then, Demetrius and Helena pass through the glade. Oberon quickly makes himself invisible, while watching and listening to them converse. Demetrius is annoyed with Helena, and does not love her or wish to see her any longer. Poor Helena! He even tells her to stop following him immediately. Yet Helena is unmoved. She repeatedly declares her loyalty, love, and adoration for Demetrius, despite his many insults. She really is hopelessly in love. The two wander away in search of Lysander and Hermia. Oberon, who has heard the whole thing, takes pity on the maiden, and he decides to take matters into his own hands. When Puck appears with the magical flower, Oberon orders him to look for an Athenian youth. He tells his servant that this man is being pursued by a lady who is in love with him. He instructs Puck to pour the magic flower liquid onto the youth's eyelids, so that he will fall in love with the poor girl and she will be appeased. He tells Puck that he will know who to find because of the Greek clothes he is wearing. Puck leaves at once to carry out his master's bidding. Meanwhile, the fairy queen Titania is quite tired from all the day's revelry. She settles down by the banks of the river to fall asleep. And, as her eyelids close, Oberon is by her side, though invisible, to pour the flower's enchanting juice on her soft eyelids. Back with the two lovers, Lysander and Hermia. Lysander admits that he has forgotten the way to his aunt's house. He suggests sleeping in the forest for the night. It is so dark already, and useless to try to find their way at this late hour. Lysander expresses his desire to sleep close to Hermia, but she wants to wait for the wedding day. She insists on sleeping a little way apart. And so, with a little distance between them, they soon grow tired and both fall asleep. Now Puck returns to the very same spot as the two sleeping lovers. He is exasperated, having looked all over the forest for a youth with a Grecian garb that his master spoke of. He cannot find either the youth or the pursuing lady. And so, when he comes across the sleeping forms of Lysander and Hermia, he assumes that this is the couple Oberon was referring to. The way they are sleeping a little way apart confirms that the man did not want anything to do with the woman. Happy to have finally found them, he hurries to pour the ointment on Lysander's eyelids. The fairy hopes that when the young man awakes, he will see the woman who loves him, and all will be well. Well, it could have gone according to plan. However, at that moment, Helena appears. She was not able to keep up with Demetrius, whom she was pursuing. And now, spying Lysander, she decides that maybe he can talk to his friend on her behalf. She rouses him awake as a last resort. Unbeknownst to them both, the potion has already started to work its magic. Upon seeing the face of Helena, Lysander falls deeply in love. All at once, he proclaims how beautiful she is. He declares his love and passion for her and hopes that she will return his love in that instant. Helena is shocked. She knows full well that Lysander is in love with Hermia. She reminds him of this. You can imagine how surprised she is when he tells her that Hermia means absolutely nothing to him. He continues going on about his passion for her. And now, Helena starts to think that maybe Lysander is just making fun of her. Off she goes in a huff, but he follows her. And so, as it happens, when Hermia wakes up, Lysander is nowhere to be seen. She attempts to walk deeper into the woods in search of him. Back at the group of craftsmen rehearsing their play. Now, they meet in the woods at the appointed time. Bottom tries to convince the others to change certain elements of the play. He explains that details of one character's suicide and the lion's roaring might frighten the noblewomen in the audience. The other men agree, and they decide to write a prologue to explain certain details and discuss how to incorporate these into the play. While discussing these trivial matters, the fairy servant, Puck, enters their part of the woods. He is delighted by such a funny scene, such rough-looking characters pretending to be objects and animals. Why not help them out a bit? He wonders to himself, and, in that instant, changes the head of Bottom into a donkey's head. Of course, this seemingly harmful bit of magic terrifies the other men. Upon seeing Bottom now looking like an ass, they run for their lives. The enchanted woods might put a spell on all of them. Off they sprint, leaving Bottom alone and confused. Now, who do you think might enter the scene but the Queen Fairy, Titania herself? For all this time she was sleeping. But remember, with the magic potion on her eyelids. And when she awakes, the first creature she sees is Bottom, with a donkey's head. And immediately, the fairy queen is in love. She calls upon her flock of servant fairies, Peaseblossom, Cobweb, Moat, and Mustard Seed, to attend to the new object of her affection. Bottom is delighted, and hasn't realized that his head has been replaced with that of an ass. He is flattered at such great attention, and promptly follows Titania and her fairies into their wooded glade. The mischievous Puck can now report to Oberon, who is gleeful at the news Titania loves a donkey. Oberon laughs and laughs. His plan is working so well. But, as the two jest, in come Hermia and Demetrius. And now, the confusion ensues. Puck wonders why the woman he saw earlier is now with a different man from the one he enchanted. Oberon is equally surprised that the man he ordered Puck to enchant is with an entirely different woman. Upon realizing their mistake, the two fairies must now figure out how to fix it. Oberon tells Puck to remedy this terrible situation. Hermia, upset with Demetrius, leaves him to fall asleep that evening, while she stalks away to find Lysander. With Hermia gone, Puck squeezes the flower juice onto Demetrius's eyelids. He awakes to the sound of the other couple, Lysander and Helena. The noise of their bickering roused him from sleep. Upon seeing Helena, he immediately falls in love with her. So now, both Demetrius and Lysander are declaring their love. At this point, the confused Helena decides they are both mocking her. How can she believe either of them? As Hermia re-enters and sees that now both men love her friend instead, she is appalled at all three. Her heart, though broken before, now feels ruptured. Lysander and Demetrius are ready to fight over Helena now, and Hermia is convinced that her best friend Helena has certainly betrayed her. She attempts to scratch out Helena's eyes. Puck has really done his mischief now. Demetrius and Lysander start fighting, and the girls disperse. Oberon sends Puck to fix this seemingly hopeless situation. As night falls, all four of the young Athenian lovers finally wander back into the woods and fall asleep. When they are settled, Puck pours the magic potion on Lysander's eyelids, hoping that in the morning all will be well. Meanwhile, Queen Titania enters the grove with Bottom. He still looks quite ridiculous with the head of a donkey. Titania tells Bottom to lie down with his head in her lap, and he does so. She continues to kiss and stroke his long ears, declaring her love and passion. And he, in a trance, lets her. "Oh, how I love thee, how I dote on thee," she says as they fall asleep. Puck and Oberon enter the glade and see how Oberon's revenge has had its way. Satisfied, Oberon bends over the fairy queen and undoes the magic. When she awakes, of course she is horrified to find an ugly donkey snoring in her lap. Oberon whisks her away to dance, and Bottom's normal head and face are restored. He wakes, as if from a dream. The next morning, Theseus, Hippolyta, and their attendants enter the forest. They are amazed to find the Athenian couples sleeping soundly on the ground. Upon waking them, they demand to know what this nonsense is. Nobody seems quite sure of themselves, only that they are now with the partners whom they love and want to stay with forever. The king and his queen are happy and content, as it seems that finally the young lovers have come to their senses. Or, at least, Hermia, who had been giving her father a hard time, was now so sure of her love, and they must honor that. Why not have a great celebration? This calls for singing and dancing, a feast, and all the good things in life. And so, the king and queen instruct the young lovers to follow them to their own wedding ceremony in the castle and celebrate. Back at Quince's house, we find the craftsmen worrying about their missing friend, Bottom. Someone says they last saw him in the forest with a donkey's head on, so perhaps he has come under some evil spell. They all wonder aloud if they can still go through with the play without Bottom. In the end, they decide it would be madness, as there is no one in Athens so witty, intelligent, or able to act in this play. Just then, who do you suppose enters the room but Bottom, with his normal self? He wonders why everyone looks so glum. "Cheer up, friends," he says. "I have an amazing story to tell you about my adventure in the forest." And he proceeds to tell them all about it, after they have performed for the king and queen's wedding. Off the merry bunch of men go, off to see the king and the queen, and perform their play. Meanwhile, back in the fairies' portion of the woods, there are celebrations too, for now things are back to normal, and all is full of wonder and magic again. I wonder if his friends believed him when he finally told them what happened on that midsummer's night in the woods. Would you have believed it if he told you himself? Whatever happened, it will always be remembered that, once upon a time, there was mystery, magic, and a whole lot of love going on in those wooded glades. And now, it's time for me to say goodbye, and wish you sweet dreams of your own. Thank you for joining me. I hope you will be back tomorrow.